And welcome back to Top Cheddar Sports. It's NBA Tuesday. I'm Brad.
Nah, sorry, Brad. We don't have time for this.
I was Spencer.
Go ahead. Here you go. Yeah.
And let's get right into this.
Yeah, so welcome to the NBA free agency edition of Top Cheddar Sports. So this is what we're looking at. You guys can't see it. We can. That's what matters. We have a lot to talk about, especially because day one, 6 p.m., shit kicked off, Brett. So this whole intro thing, we don't have time for it because on day one, we saw a lot of this flying around. You know what I'm saying? So where should we begin?
Let's break it down. So Damian Lillard re-ups with the Blazers, 4 years, $196 million.
4 years, 196.
Check that off. How do you feel about that?
Damian Lillard, absolutely one of the best point guards in the league, and we saw yesterday that point guards got freaking paid. So
Dame,
there's one for you.
All right.
There's one.
All right, next. Kemba, Celtics, 4 years, $141 million. This was part of a sign-and trade. Terry Rozier goes to the Hornets then.
Yeah, he goes to the Hornets for 3 years, $58 million. Point guards, getting paid. Love the move for the Celtics, replacing Kyrie Irving
for the Celtics
with Kemba. Makes sense.
Hate the move for the Hornets, way overpaying Terry Rozier.
And also, you really think you're replacing you're replacing Kemba with Terry Rozier? That's an awful trying to replace our franchise player with this guy. All right, let's talk real quick. Jumping around, obviously, because so much happened. If we miss anything,
we apologize.
We'll try and catch it in the next one.
But can you blame us?
Let's go to the Nets because they had a really big day.
They did.
So they signed Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Jordan. Now, we don't know yet the exact numbers other than DeAndre Jordan's 4-year, $40 million.
Right.
Kyrie and Kevin both took
slightly less
than Max's, so that they could sign DeAndre Jordan and also sign some other players, such as Garrett Temple, who signed a 2-year deal with them. I do not know for how much. I don't know if that was released. That's the other thing to keep in mind. None of this is actually...
It's not official.
Official
July
until...
6th, I believe.
So we do have a little bit of time where people, DeAndre Jordan, can decide to back out of their verbal agreements because that's all it is a verbal agreement. But a lot of this stuff will happen.
Can I just say, I thought the whole DeAndre Jordan signing was a little interesting to begin with because they have Jared Allen there, who's a good center, debatably just as good as DeAndre Jordan, in my opinion. So I don't really understand why they're paying $40 million to another center who's older and, I don't know, equally as good.
I think
when you can put that money elsewhere, but I don't know. I mean, I also do get it because he is a good player, but like, you know,
I think what it comes down to is the fact that they wanted to bring in somebody who has good chemistry already with Kyrie and Kevin. They pointed out that these guys played on Team USA together. They played on all-star teams together. So the chemistry in the background is there for them. And so
that's true.
The hope is
a good point.
That they can keep it up.
Next, let's talk about another guard. Derrick Rose goes to the Pistons, 2 years, $15 million. About what I thought he would get.
Yeah.
Good for the Pistons, whatever. JJ Redick to the Pelicans, 2 years, $26.5 million. That hurt me a little bit.
Yes, that one sucked.
Me a little bit.
Especially because earlier, before the day began, JJ said that he wanted to retire in Philly, and instead he went for the money in New Orleans.
And he is a liar.
That Philly offered him less than what he could get elsewhere, which is why he took this opportunity.
Yeah.
It is only a 2-year deal, so maybe we'll see JJ back in Philly in a couple years and he can retire a Sixer. Who knows? Who knows?
But, Brogdon, Pacers.
Malcolm Brogdon, holy
4 year, $85 million, and this was in a sign and trade as well, a first and a 2 future seconds go to Milwaukee.
Yes.
In return. So good for the Bucks.
Yeah.
Good for the Pacers. Win-win. We love win-win.
Better for the Pacers, for sure.
Yeah.
Bucks definitely lose out on a very good player, somebody who was really good for them.
Really good.
But that being said, the Pacers may have overpaid.
Didn't deserve Rookie of the Year though when he got it.
Did not.
But no, I won't go there.
4 years, $85 million is a heck of a lot of money for Brogdon. The Pacers made it clear that they wanted him though, and they priced out other people. So such as the Sixers. Sixers were a team that were looking at him.
That's true.
So good for him, and I mean, good for him for getting paid. You know, hopefully he lives up to it.
Can I say the next name? I love saying this name.
Go ahead.
Bogdanovich, right?
Isn't it Bojan?
Bojan. Sorry, I'm sorry.
You love saying it.
Bojan Bogdanovic to the Jazz, 4 years, $73 million. I mean,
that's just throwing money at a player.
Yes, but not a bad move given what the Jazz already have in place there. The Jazz become a stronger team. The West, oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah.
Western Conference.
Honestly, it looks like a lot of the teams are starting to get a little more balanced, which is good.
Sure.
Not only in the West, I think the East is starting to see this as well. Some of like the lower teams are, other than the Nets, for example, definitely look a lot better. So hopefully, you know, yeah, it may be a lot clearer that these are the 8 teams that are going to make the playoffs, but hopefully it's tight between those 8 teams instead of, well, in the East it's these 4 at the top and that's all that really matters.
Exactly.
And then it's, you know, these next 4 that fought it out and just barely by the skin of their teeth made it in.
Right.
You know
Thad Young, my hero, take some money. You go to the Bulls, 3 years, $41 million. Kind of a meh signing for both sides, I think, because Thad Young's an effective player, but he goes to the Bulls, and he's not the kind of player that can really help you do anything on his own, so, like, kind of weird, but good for Thad Young getting paid. I love you still, and will always.
The Bucks, after losing out on, or trading Brogdon, they decide to pay Chris Middleton, pay Brook Lopez. Middleton comes back on a 5-year, $178 million max. The dude deserves it.
Yes, he does.
Cannot wait to watch him and the Greek Freak dominate together. And Brook Lopez, the big man, comes back on a 4-year, $52 million deal that he deserved. I mean, he played well and earned that money.
The Bucks doing a little mini run it back, minus Brogdon.
Yeah.
I like it. Good luck.
The Bucks also, just to add now, day 2, they did add Wesley Matthews on a vet minimum, not to try and, to still try and keep day 1 and day 2 separate, but yeah, just so.
Worth talking about, worth mentioning. Next
Yes.
up, let's go Trevor Ariza to the Kings.
Trevor Ariza, nice player.
I really like that. I really like that move. Trevor Ariza, a player that can fit in on any team. He gets 2 years, $25 million.
Good deal for the Kings, I think.
Good deal for the Kings, for sure. Very good player, pretty good value.
Yeah, 2 years, $25 million, so that's 12.5 a year. And I think he'll fit in nicely alongside of Heel and De'Aaron Fox.
Yes.
Terrence Ross goes to Orlando on a 4-year, $59 million deal, and Jonas Valanciunas re-ups with the Grizzlies, 3 years, $45 million. That deal I actually like. Valanciunas isn't a stellar center, but that being said, $15 million a year for him. I think it makes sense for the Grizzlies because
it's important to have an effective big man for John Morant for the first 3 years. So I do like it for that reason. And they're not going to contend anytime soon. They know it. So this is a good move.
And $15 million a year, 2 years from now, you'll be paying him that $15 million for his 3rd year. But he could be a bench player that, is a little overpaid if you get another big man to roll in and kind of take his place. I like it.
So that's a contract you like. I want to talk about a contract I hate now, and that is Ricky Rubio to the Phoenix Suns, 3 years, $51 million. This, in my honest opinion,
nobody else gets
this might be the worst contract handed out.
Nobody else gets
on the first day.
Ricky Rubio gets it all.
Yeah, I mean Ricky Rubio, just not a good player, in my opinion. Not worth that, certainly. And like the Suns, I already talked about on the NBA draft video how many guards they have. They just go out and pay a ton of money to another guard?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It was a questionable move for sure. So Al-Farouq Aminu, it's now your turn to get a little spot in the sun, and you get this old receipt as a part of your 3-year, $29 million deal that you did with the Magic.
I'm sorry, I'm going to swoop in and steal them from you. I'll give you the money. I'll give you the money.
I gave all my money to Ricky Rubio.
I'll give you the money.
Shit.
No, so he gets 3 years, $29 million. Solid contract. The Magic also did something good. Where is it? Did we touch on it already? No, we did not. Nick Vukovic.
Oh, yeah, Vukovic. We didn't get him on here.
We didn't get him on here. Well, Nick Vukovic got, I believe I remember it, 4 years, $100 million.
I think that's about right.
From the Orlando Magic. Very good move for them. We talked about how good of a player he is.
And they kept him from going to
the Lakers.
The Lakers to Boston.
Yeah.
A lot of people were in on him. So good move on them. Kristaps Porzingis gets his max from the Mavs. It was talked that he was probably going to get it, and get it he did. 5 years, $158 million. Let's see.
Rodney Hood, Blazers, 2 years, $16 million. Not much to say about that. Let's move on. We're running out of time. Not really.
Let's go. Another thing that the Blazers did as a part of the Jimmy Butler sign and trade. So Jimmy Butler,
let's talk about that whole thing. This is a good time.
Was offered a.
Go ahead.
Jimmy Butler was offered a max from the
my bad.
From the 76ers, so he was offered the 5-year deal. He turned it down because he wanted to go play in Miami. So a sign and trade occurred.
Why is that, Spence?
I don't know.
He wants to win.
I can tell you right now, that's a fucking lie.
Oh boy.
So Jimmy Butler gets a 4-year, $142 million deal. Oh, okay, so a lot of moving pieces here. So I got this. The Sixers in return get Josh Richardson, a very player that the league loves. He's
on a very team-friendly contract. I like that. Player, the Blazers then get Hassan Whiteside, who I'm sure is very thankful that he is leaving Miami now that Butler's coming in, because I think Butler would probably kill him. And they get Myers Leonard from the Blazers. Wait, no.
Yeah. The Heat get Myers
Leonard. And the Blazers get Whiteside. I'm sorry. Excuse me, that makes sense. And the Clippers get Mo Harkless and a first-round pick.
No, the Clippers get a first round pick from the Heat.
From the Heat.
For taking on the $11 million of Harkless.
Now it all makes sense. Right?
It's a lot.
That was easy, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So
what do we think about all that?
Here's what I think. I think that this is a lose.
Who's your loser?
I think the Heat are the loser in this scenario.
You think?
So they get Jimmy Butler, and that's great. They go into the offseason without a max contract, without the ability to give a max contract, and they get a very good player in Jimmy Butler, but you're not going to be able to give him pieces. So the dude is going to be unhappy, and then you're going to have to deal with an unhappy Jimmy Butler. That is a lose.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think every team won here, and I'll tell you why. Butler turned down the contract. Sixers were going to keep him anyways. They got a great piece on a friendly contract in return. The Heat, as you said, didn't have the money to sign a max player. They wound up getting one anyways, and they were able to move a bad contract out in Hassan Whiteside in the process. The Blazers get an upgraded center over Myers Leonard in the form of Hassan Whiteside on a bad contract. Still an upgraded center. And then the Clippers, you're getting Mo Harkless and a first-round pick. I mean,
just for eating salary.
Yeah, so I'd say that's a win in every direction.
Okay.
I really liked it for all teams.
I'll let you think that. So the Sixers then went out and made some other moves. They were very active day one. They got Al Horford for 4 years, $109 million, which we found $12 million of that is actually tied to a championship. So the contract's
just 97.
Yeah. They also brought in Tobias on a 5-year, not quite max, $180 million deal. And they brought back the regional manager, Mike Scott, on a 2-year, $9.8 million deal. While I jump down here to cross it out, go ahead and let them know what you think about it, Brett.
I like the Toby re-signing. I think he's going to prove to be slightly overpaid, but I think it's worth it. He's a guy that can help stretch the floor. He's a unique player, good shooter. Mike Scott coming back, heart and soul of the Sixers last year, along with TJ McConnell, and the fans love him. Cheap contract, short term, I like that. Al Horford, that contract scares me a little bit, but I do love the player. I think it might get scary towards the end of that deal. But again, I like the player. So ultimately, I think these were all good moves for the Sixers, especially, I think they used the cap that they had given Butler didn't re-sign very well in the form of that.
I would agree.
And now let's just re-sign TJ McConnell.
Yes.
And that'll be all I need to be happy in life. All right.
All right. So, lastly, let's round up day
Let's talk about the Knicks.
With the Knicks.
So the Knicks sign, hold on, they get Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving.
No.
To pair with RJ Barrett.
No, Brett.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Zion. They drafted Zion.
Brett, none of that. They missed out on all 3 of them.
None of that happened?
None of it.
Well, at least they can go to sleep tonight knowing they offered Durant a max. It was all they could have done. They put in their best effort.
They didn't even offer him a max. They didn't.
What am I supposed to do with all this? What am I supposed to do?
They didn't even offer him a max. So they used those max slots to sign Julius Randle. Do you want to throw a sad one? Taj Gibson. Bobby Portis.
If I had a coin, I'd throw that right now.
Reggie Bullock.
Not worth my time.
Wayne Ellington. And then on day 2, they added Elfrid Payton to the mix. Julius Randle gets a very nice 3-year, $63 million deal. He is a very good player. Maybe a little overpaid.
You know what? Julius Randle gets a 5 because I do like that.
Taj Gibson is a 2-year, $20 million. Bobby Portis, 2-year, $31 million. I don't know if I like that.
That's a bad contract.
Reggie Bullock, 2 years, 21. Wayne Ellington, 2 years, 17. And Elfrid Payton, 2 years, 16. Every other deal I actually kind of like. If they would have signed a big name player.
What the Knicks did is they took a lot of very solid players, got them under contract. They're going to be much better. But now you look at their division and what just happened in their division. Especially we, to this point of recording, don't know where Kawhi is going to go still. I think he still stays in Toronto. So you look at that division, and every other team, Spencer, now in that division is loaded. They're still very good. And all you do is bring in these role players. And now you got to pay them for multiple years. I think I would have much rather, if the Knicks were sold on not giving Durant any money, just don't give anybody money. You know, continue the rebuild. Tank, practically. Get a good draft pick again, and then spend that money on a player that's actually worth it, and not a bunch of role players. Because now you're spending money. You don't have as much cap room. There's multiple year contracts, so they won't have as much cap room for 2-3 years now still. And you're not gonna go anywhere with these players. I just don't.
The saving grace.
It's such a poorly run franchise. It's honestly
the saving grace at this point for the Knicks. The only way to save this offseason is if they bring in Kawhi, because they have some nice pieces to put around him.
Kawhi's not going to the Knicks.
All right.
Iguodala said it best. Nobody's going to the Knicks.
So nobody's going to New York. So as we closed our eyes on day 1 of NBA free agency.
I was actually awake for this one, but yeah, go ahead.
So was I. D'Angelo Russell gets signed and traded to
the Golden State Warriors.
The Warriors. Which
that makes perfect sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
This is Spencer. To be honest with you, what I think happened with this one is Golden State panicked. They were like, "Oh my God, Durant left, and a lot of other good pieces are already off the board." So they went out and they were like, "Okay, we could probably get D'Angelo Russell," and then they give him a max contract. They give a point guard. A team that has Steph Curry and Klay Thompson as their guards, they give a point guard a max contract. 1, D'Angelo Russell sure as hell is not worth a max contract. 2, you already have the guards. 3, he's the kind of player that needs the ball in his hands to do anything, like a poor man's Kyrie, I would say. And that's not going to mesh well with that Warriors team. I really hate this for the Warriors. I don't know what they were thinking. Do you know?
So here's what I think happened. I think the Warriors, like you said, panicked when Kevin Durant said that he wasn't coming back. And so they needed to have some sort of saving grace on this offseason. They bring in D'Angelo Russell because it's a guy they can pair with Steph until Klay Thompson gets back. And it's a guy that they could potentially trade down the line. I don't know if that's next year or if that's later, but
why sign a guy just to trade him?
I don't know.
You know?
And in the process of this, it was a sign and trade, and they had to get rid of cap, so they traded Andre Iguodala to the Memphis Grizzlies along with a first-round pick, and they aren't getting anything in return for that.
Yeah. Another good ad for the Grizzlies. Again, they're still young. They know they're not going to compete, but Andre Iguodala is a good veteran guy that can help kind of teach and, play with Ja Morant. I think he's a valuable ad for them. And again, they're not competing. They have the salary cap. They can pay him. That's a good move for them. While I was dealing with my insomnia last night at 2 a.m, saw that, the Warriors were then shopping Iguodala, and I was like, come home, my king.
Yes.
Come to the Sixers. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But again, good fit for the Grizz.
Memphis could still buy him out, which is interesting, and a lot of teams could use a guy like Iggy. The Rockets and the Lakers are the two that are most notably.
And
Well, yeah, the Sixers, I would love to have them back, but they're the two that are probably going to pursue them the hardest. So I think that wraps up everything that happened on day one.
how much money was spent on day one?
Within the first 4 hours.
Because I'm all out.
Within the first 4 hours, $2 billion had been promised to players. $3 billion.
You're saying
in the first day.
I just spent $2 billion just now.
Yes. Think about waking up in Vegas after that kind of mistake.
Things happen so fast.
So fast. But don't worry. Day 2, we got more money.
But I'm out of money.
It's all right. We'll just work as an organization over the cap, Brett.
Oh, okay.
To bring in a guy like Kevin Looney, who the Warriors did bring back on a 3-year, $15 million deal.
I really like that.
Good deal. Yep.
Very good. Team friendly.
Frank Kaminsky goes to the Suns, 2 years, $10 million.
Wisconsin Badger legend.
Yes.
That's all I have to say about that.
Enes Kanter, this is a sneaky good move, goes to the Celtics on a 2-year, $10 million deal.
I said that.
No, I said it first.
No, but Enes Kanter, seriously, to the Celtics, 5 years, or $5 million for 2 years. Really, really, really good move.
Especially because they missed out on Vucevic, Horford, you know.
Really good move.
So, Austin Rivers goes to the Rockets, 2 years, vet min. That's interesting.
That's about all he's worth.
Seth Curry. Seth.
Seth.
Not Splash Bro, but he is a brother of the Splash Bro, which intrinsically makes him a Splash Bro. He goes to the Mavs on a 4-year, $32 million deal. That is a nice,
I like
nice
that one a
contract
lot
for this guy.
too. I like the Mavericks this year.
Me
They
too.
could be really sneaky good.
Yes, there's a centipede.
Oh my God, where?
It's on one of the ones.
Okay, we're gonna have to kill that. So we'll be right back.
Did he get out, maybe?
Jesus. Got it. Got it. Oh my God, it's so fast.
I think I got it.
Oh Jesus. Hold on. I have something better. I'm gonna use a TV in a minute. What? Yeah, dude. Stab it.
And last but not least,
Crisis averted. And now there's a fucking flaw.
Ish Smith
There's a fucking moth in there now. You see that shit?
signs with the Wizards.
The dish from Ish. The switch from Ish. I love Ish Smith.
2-year, $12 million deal.
Wait, the Wizards are a team. They really didn't do anything, did they?
No.
They're just going to be stuck in mediocrity.
Right now, Isaiah Thomas is somebody that they could potentially be looking at. This is obviously because John Wall is recovering from that Achilles injury.
Right,
so,
right.
yeah. But
So it'd be crazy to give him a max coming off an Achilles injury, right?
John Wall?
Anybody. Right?
Oh, that would, yeah. If I was
That'd
an
be absurd.
organization and I'm looking at, especially like a top 5 player, you know, maybe.
So it's
probably
not worth taking any risk on that.
No way.
No, God, no.
No.
Because you all know, once you have an Achilles injury, I mean, you lose all basketball ability.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
He
he was terrible
He had to retire.
after. Oh, my God.
Yep. So.
I think that covers it all. So over $3 billion in total we just spent.
But again,
in these 20 minutes.
keep in mind that none of these deals are actually confirmed until, yeah, I think it's the 6th, or we probably should have double checked on that. But
God, I gotta pay rent somehow.
you're not going to be able to because you just dropped $3 billion on NBA free agency.
At least we'll win the championship.
Nope, you won't, Knicks fans.